Today we're going to look at this Cyberpunk edit that I did in Photoshop and Blender. Alright, so initially I did frequency separation to touch up the skin. As always, that's the first thing I want to do on every edit, because if I do it later on, it can be destructive for the edit, and I want to be able to have a good workflow later on. If you guys don't know what that is and are interested in that, I have a full tutorial on my channel. So the idea behind this edit was I wanted to go for a cyberpunk edit, and I knew I wanted like a reflection in my glasses, so I use this it's like a tube light that I have, and it's just a flashlight inside of a plastic tube that's wrapped in color gel, and I believe it's some kind of paper that's really thin to kind of diffuse it a little bit. So I use that for the lighting situation as well as a backlight. Also, there was a light on the ground and it was pointed towards a white wall to kind of give me a little bit more lighting in the shoot. All right, so obviously I have to use two separate photos because I'm doing a self shoot, and it's incredibly hard to do self shoots. It's definitely something I have to get used to, or to have more practice with. You can't just change perspective easily. You have to go in and so it's definitely not easy to do self shoots, but if I was behind the camera and had more space, it would be a whole lot easier to get good compositions going, because I can like see what I'm doing and change it in an instant. So it's definitely hard and I need a lot more practice. All right, so in Blender, I used the new cargo software created by Kitbash 3D and the kit called Cyber District. So I'm just building composition. I parented the empty, which is the PNG cutout of myself. I parented that to the camera so I can just move the camera around and try to find a good perspective for the image and good composition. Here you can see how I do a principal volume on a cube just to make some atmosphere in the scene, and I just put a color ramp on it. I mix that with a gradient texture and a noise texture with a mapping node as well, and I just play around with that until I can get a good atmosphere for the scene. All right, so I start blending stuff together. I like to use a curves adjustment layer and just blow out the highlights as much as I can, because it shows you like the true color of each image, and you can kind of color grade really easily that way, but you always need to just go back and make sure it looks good in the scene when you're done. And yeah, that's how I do that. So for the line, I just use like a chalk brush for that and try to make it look realistic for the lighting situation. So I put shadows where they should be and the highlights where they should be, and just try to paint in kind of what I want the character to look like. So I just draw in blocks of paint where I want to clip photos to later on to build up the sci-fi scene. So I found these really cool angel wings on a stock photography website, and I just put them in there, and it kind of really made it look really awesome. So I went for like a cyberpunk angel, and I just use a bunch of adjustment layers to blend the wings in. I just made sure that the lighting is consistent and the shadows and the highlights are consistent as well. So I wanted to make my arms kind of look like there's something coming off of them. So I used a sign from that Cyber District kit, and I just masked it on my arms. So on the face, the mask, I just use a motherboard. There's a really cool picture on a stock photography website, and I used the same image 3 times, and I just masked out what I wanted in each spot. All right, we're on the last part of the edit, and overall I'm really happy with this edit. I really like this character. I don't really know exactly what kind of character it is. It's like a sci-fi angel. So at this point, I'm done with the composition. I'm just fixing it up a little bit. I'm trying to find out if the values are decent. I think I changed the exposure on the wing because it just seemed too bright, and I do a sharpen and I put noise on the image as always because everything is inconsistent with the noise levels, and I'm just making sure the color grade looks good. I went back and I changed the color grade just a little bit a couple different times. That's it for the video. I hope you guys liked it. If you have any comments, let me know in the comment section. That's all I have for you guys. Have a good one.